I will just do an unofficial, I'm not the chair. We're waiting for our chair for Carolyn, but just welcome and thank you all to the guests, to the people joining us, and it's just much appreciated. We've got a really awesome several discussions for this meeting.
Oh, sorry, you guys. I meant to mute that. Well, that's going to be on the recording now.
I wonder if people are having trouble getting onto the Teams. Last month, we had a big problem with Teams. I'm going to go to my email and see if I see some messages.
Yeah, I was just going to check too, Jean. I sent a request out to Carolyn earlier because I saw her name pop up and then it disappeared. So I did send another request to her.
Well, last I said last month, when you weren't here, Lisa, we did definitely have some issues with about half the people went into one room and half the people were directed into a different room, but I don't see anything in my email.
Yeah, I don't see anything either. Okay. Let me look at the chats and the entry point and see if we have anyone struggling to get in.
Yeah. It is Mercury retrograde. Or I think it is. I think it started. I know it's right about this time.
Yep, it is. Okay, I don't see anyone in the chat asking to be logged on, but that doesn't mean that they're not struggling to log on. I'm going to go and look at another area. I'll be right back, you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, I was just checking to see if I had any messages from Sarah or anyone else, but I don't. So we're waiting on Carolyn and Sarah or Marcella.
Sarah sent an email and she will not be here.
Okay. So
and I think that might be right before you came back.
Okay.
So, and Bethany resigned, and so there should be 5 of us.
Right. So we have Miss Jean and Tarang is here, and so we're waiting for Carolyn, Marcella, or Angelica.
Yeah.
Let me reach out to them, you guys. Give me just a second. I'm gonna try and get a hold of them.
I really, while we're waiting, want to commend the students for this really excellent report that you developed. It was impressive, and the writing was really good. You can all be really proud of yourself.
Okay, we have Angelica, so we are now waiting for Marcella and Carolyn. And here is Miss Carolyn.
Oh, good. So now we have a quorum.
Yes, we do. We can go ahead and get started if you guys want. Miss Jean or Miss Carolyn, who is leading? Is it Carolyn?
Carolyn.
Well, Miss Carolyn, whenever you're
Yes,
ready.
hi. I just got in. I was getting some problems to get in though. I'm wondering.
Just like last month, Carolyn, we had some.
Yeah.
Well, Miss
I
Carolyn, whenever you're ready, we can do roll call and get started.
Great. Thank you. And I wonder if you can do me a favor, Lisa. Thank you for coming back and just jumping right in. Um, are you able to share the agenda, please? Because I think everything just got deleted.
Oh, wow.
I think it's on my side though. Yeah,
Okay,
because
yes.
we're doing some migration and I think it's on our side.
Okay, let me see if I can share my screen and get that over to you.
Yes. Thank you. Wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome.
All right. So let's go to this. Okay, so um let's call the meeting to order. It is 1:36 p.m. and let's go ahead and do a roll call. Jean Tona.
Here.
All right, Tarang Jane. Oh, Tarang is saying I have network issues.
Yeah,
Okay, but he's here. Sarah Jarvis.
he's absent today.
All right. Myself, I'm here. Marcelo Pino. Marcella is absent today.
Yes.
Oh, and Angelica Sanchez.
Here.
There. Hi. Okay, thank you so much, commissioners, for being here with us during this technological issues that we're having. All right, so our third item is the statement, mission statement, and land acknowledgement. I will read the mission statement, and it is a commission to foster, support, respect, awareness, and appreciation of diversity among all citizens of Flagstaff. And may I have someone to volunteer, one of our commissioners, to read the land acknowledgement?
I will.
Thank you.
Commission on Diversity Awareness humbly acknowledges the ancestral homelands of the area's indigenous nations and original stewards. These lands, still inhabited by native descendants, border mountains sacred to indigenous peoples. We honor them, their legacies, their traditions, and their continued contributions. We celebrate their past, present, and future generations who will forever know this place as home.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Tona. Okay, and our fourth item is upcoming opportunities and announcements. Do we have any upcoming opportunities and announcements? So let's go ahead and move to public comment. And so the commission cannot act upon items presented during the public participation portion of the agenda. Individual commission members may ask questions of the public, but are prohibited by the open meeting law for discussion or considering the item among themselves until the item is officially placed on the agenda. Each public comment or presentation will be limited to 5 minutes. So we're opening up the floor for any public comments. Anyone have a public comment at this time? Lisa, you seeing anything in the chat?
I don't see anything in the chat and I don't see any raised hands.
Okay. Let's give a little more minute, one more minute. All right, so item 6, the approval of minutes. So the minutes for November 15th, 2023 was distributed to the commissioners. At this point in time, if you didn't get a chance to read it, if you can just go ahead and glance it through, and then I'll have a motion to approve the minutes of November 15, 2023. So the floor is open for a motion as soon as you're ready.
This is Commissioner Sanchez. I motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you,
November.
Commissioner Sanchez. Do I have a second?
I second. Having trouble finding my mic.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so the date for the next meeting is January 17th, and I think that meant to say 2024. Is that correct? I don't want to go back in time.
Yes, that should have
Oh,
said
okay.
2024, and we'll get that
All
corrected.
right, wonderful. So the date of the next meeting, January 17th, 2024. Do any of the commissioners just let me know if there are any type of any conflicts or anything like that. Is everybody all right with that date? January 17th, 2024.
Yep.
Okay, good. So number 8, action items. So we do have a presentation for the Rainbow Crosswalk by Zane Jacobs and Alicia Henry from the Northern Arizona Pride Association. Is Zane and Alicia here?
Hi, I'm here. Unfortunately, Zane couldn't make it today. He is at a funeral.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, go right ahead. Alicia, do you want us to share any presentations or you go? Do you need any assistance there?
I think I got it.
Okay.
I am sharing my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So hi, I'm Alicia Henry. I am the Vice President of Flagstaff Pride, and thank you for allowing me to present this to you today. So Flagstaff Pride, our vision is that we envision a Flagstaff in Northern Arizona where LGBTQIA2 spirit individuals are welcome, supported, and able to live authentically and free from discrimination, prejudice, and bias. Our mission is together we'll support, unite, and strengthen our LGBTQIA2 plus communities. Why a rainbow crosswalk? For starters, for visibility, to show inclusivity. Historically, community members do not feel seen or representative, and we, Flagstaff Pride, believe that having a crosswalk would make the community members feel supported, seen, and included. So cities with a crosswalk here in the state, in Arizona, both Phoenix and Tucson have rainbow crosswalks. Phoenix has 2, and they are dispersed between downtown in 2 different locations, and Tucson uses an entire intersection. Other cities in the US that have crosswalks are Atlanta, San Francisco, Houston, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Seattle, Los Angeles, Portland, Chicago. To me, Ames, Iowa stands out as they are a smaller population than us and a more conservative town. And then, of course, smaller cities with crosswalks. And so some potential locations for the crosswalk, we would really like to take the entire intersection at Aspen and LaRue. We feel like that is a great place for visibility. The Pine Cone Drop is there. We have Heritage Square right next to it. We feel that that is a main location for visitors in this town. And so we feel that that would be the best area for visibility, but also Aspen and San Francisco, as well as the pedestrian walkway in front of City Hall would be nice places for people to feel safe when they cross the street and seen. So potential designs, if we do a 4-way, we would like something like this, where it takes up the whole intersection. Potential methods. So the least expensive is paint. However, it does require more frequent upkeep. And Flagstaff Phoenix Pride estimates that they have spent about $20,000 in materials to create and maintain their crosswalks. Other potential methods would be beads and a traffic epoxy. This is what the city of Tucson uses. It's more expensive, but it is more durable. And they created their crosswalk with donated materials and labor. And this is my favorite method. Of course, it is the most expensive, but it is the most durable. This is what Denver uses. They use a thermoplastic, and it is costly, but it withstands weather and traffic. And here's just some information about the costs. And so who will fund this? Of course, this will not come out of tax dollars. We want everyone to know that Flagstaff Pride would fund this with the help of donors and grants, and that we would help maintain the crosswalk as well. And then here are our citations. Does anybody have any questions?
I see Commissioner Toner's hand is up. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alicia, thank you so much. Are you going to be able to provide us with the PowerPoint?
Yes, I emailed it to Mariah last night.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah,
We'll
first
get
off,
that
oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa.
I'm sorry, this is Lisa. We'll get that over to the commissioners today.
Thank you so much, Alicia. This was really, I know it was really quick, but there's a lot of information on there, especially the part with the maintenance part, because we snow up here, and I know I think it's Denver. I'm not sure of the other places, but every time we snow and we have the snow plow, we have to resheet and all these different things. So I was just thinking into consideration. I'm hoping that you took that into consideration, because how we have to repaint our streets all the time because of the
Correct.
snow. Yeah.
Also, we plan on buying in bulk. So we actually have a fundraiser on the Flagstaff Pride's website where you can donate to contribute to the crosswalk. And so we plan on buying in bulk and maintaining those supplies so it can be maintained as needed. Thank you.
Thanks. And I
Thanks.
just have one question is
Sure.
what is your date? What is your deadline date? What's your foreseeable date to have this implemented?
We didn't have a deadline because we are just trying to get the approvals going before we are in the future, but I would love to have it before Pride, June. But that
Great.
would be a financial bridge
Great.
we'd have to cross, so.
Good. Well, thank you so much for your presentation. Anybody else has any questions? Any commissioners have any questions or comments? Go ahead. I see somebody's hand is up.
That's me, and I'm just wondering if you all will be, if Alicia, you and Zane will be making this presentation directly to City Council. Is that agendized or anything?
It has not been on the agenda yet. We have also are going to reach out to beautification, and we were not sure if we needed to reach out to the Historic Preservation Committee. We weren't sure if that was something that they needed to look at first. And then with every commission's blessing, we would reach out to City Council.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alicia. And please give Zane my regards.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Have a great day.
Yes. You too. Take care.
Thank you.
That's good. Really good work. All right. Lisa, do you mind pulling up the... I'm so sorry. I'm handicapped today.
You're perfectly fine. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can. Thank
All right, there you
you.
go.
All right. So we're going to 8B, which is update on Juneteenth. And I am just checking to see if... Go ahead, Alicia.
I was going to say, I don't have any updates on my end. I know that I do see that Kara House is here. I don't know if she would have any updates. We've had a lot of transition in our human resource department, so I haven't had the opportunity to speak with one of our directors regarding meetings with the leadership team. As soon as I do, hopefully I will have an update for you guys in the January meeting.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So, Council Member House, I know you were jumping from meeting to meeting. You did mention that. I'm going to open up the floor if you have any comments for us on the update on Juneteenth.
Yeah, I am here and I should be able to be here for most of your meeting. Actually, my other one was rather short.
Okay.
And my update on this is pretty much the same as Lisa's. I know that it is still under consideration with the human resources team and the direction of the city manager, but with some of the transitions that they've been going through, obviously it's I wouldn't say it's backburnered. It's just not maybe moving forward right now with any update to us as council. I do know that it was something that they expressed that they were already looking at the time that I introduced the fair. And now a fair
Right.
has also been introduced on introducing Indigenous Peoples Day, I believe, as an official city holiday as well. And it was shared that they had been looking at that as well, although they needed a little bit more direction on which date they were looking for and if it was replacing Columbus Day. So obviously things are still in motion, and as soon as I hear anything, I will reach out and share with you all.
Thank you so much, Council Member House. It's good to hear your voice too.
Thank
All
you.
right. Mhm. So let's move on to 8C, which is a presentation from NAU graduate students on the anti-camping ordinance. And I see that we have lots of faces here today. And let us go ahead with that presentation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I want to thank you so much for hosting us today. And I know Marcella isn't here, but I just want to offer a special thank you to her for helping to coordinate this opportunity. My name is Dr. Megan McDowell. I'm an assistant professor in the CCJ department here at NAU. This semester, I had the pleasure of teaching crime, inequality, and justice, which is one of our graduate classes. As you all are aware, over the course of the semester, our graduate students studied the anti-camping ordinance specifically, but more broadly, we examine both Flagstaff's response to unsheltered people, but also other jurisdictions and municipalities around the country. While our ability to fully evaluate the efficacy of the anti-camping ordinance was limited by time, but also we had some sort of restricted access to data, we were able to take a close look at models that are being implemented, again, across the country to both respond to the crisis in the moment and also to think about ways people are trying to prevent families from being unhoused in the first place. Crucially, the models that we looked at do not rely on criminalization. So today you're going to hear kind of a brief 15-minute presentation that's led by graduate students that reviews some of the work we did. We understand there won't be a discussion, but we do welcome further conversation at a later date as you all see fit. And the last thing that I would add is I really hope that CODA keeps the CCJ department and our graduate students in mind for future collaborations. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to our graduate student, Carly Reed, to offer an overview of our paper. And I'm also going to pull up our presentation. So just bear with me as I do that.
Okay, thank you, Dr. McDowell. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes to have or hopefully just a minute to have the presentation up before I get started.
Yeah, so I see I do share presenter mode. Is there anything else I need to do to pull it up?
There's a button in PowerPoint that says share in Teams, present in Teams.
Oh, really?
It'll be on the top right, I think.
Yeah, if you look at the top right, actually it's on the left of the red button that says leave. It should have a share.
Yeah,
It's a white folder. Yeah, and it has an arrow up.
I see the share, and then when I click on it, it brings up like presenter mode and window, but I'm not seeing like, I hit content only, but then nothing. Oh, we need permission to share your screen. Go to security, privacy. Lord. Well,
Lisa, are you able to give a permission to share?
It should be on her end, but let
Right.
me see what I can
Check.
do. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I did email the slides earlier today, but let's see.
Do you know who you emailed them to, Megan?
Mariah, I believe.
Okay, let me see if I can actually pull them up on my end. Give me just a second.
Okay, meanwhile, I'll keep working and see if I can.
Within PowerPoint, though,
Yeah.
on your top, is there the above your menu, it should say record, present, share? Do you have that option? Right underneath your minimize and maximize? That's what I have, unfortunately, so I'm no help.
Yeah, sorry. We were talking about how like we're Zoom people, so I'm like Teams is, I don't think I've ever shared anything on Teams before. Yeah, I don't think I can do it.
I don't see it in my email. Usually Mariah will CC me on PowerPoint presentations that come in, but I don't have it in my emails. Let me go see on my end.
But Dr.
Go ahead.
McDowell, is it okay if you can email it quickly to Lisa? Lisa, can you provide your email address
Yes,
in the
I was-
chat? Thank
I
you.
was just getting ready to do that. Thank you, Carolyn.
All right.
All right. Sorry for the delay, you guys, but if you could email it to me directly, I'll pull it up on my screen.
Okay.
There we go. My email address is in the chat.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. No, thank you, Carolyn, for being on top of that.
Okay, Lisa, I just sent it, so hopefully it lands soon. Yes, and thank you, everyone. Appreciate your patience. It wouldn't be 21st century presentation without some type of technological issue.
Some little glitch in technology. Okay, just give it a second. It has to go through our security thing that we have here, but I did just get it. Okay. It is now being scanned and it should come down in just a second. While we wait, you guys, again, just thank you for joining us today with this presentation. I know that CODA has been waiting to hear from you all for quite some time. So as the staff liaison, I just wanted to welcome all of you and tell you we are very glad that you are here. And I did get the presentation. Let me go ahead and load it on my end. Give me just a second. Now I'll share my screen. And you just let me know when I need to move to the next slide as you continue with your presentation. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in presenter slideshow. Here we go. There we go.
All right, thank you. So if you could actually go to the next slide. So we would like to start off today by talking about homelessness and anti-camping ordinances in general and why criminalization is not a solution. In 2022, there were over 500,000 individuals experiencing homelessness in the United States. This number has increased significantly since as recent as 2017, indicating that this is a national growing crisis that we need to address. Cities across the United States are responding to homelessness by utilizing punitive measures such as anti-camping ordinances. These ordinances are designed to prohibit individuals from camping in public spaces, camping being defined as lying, sitting, sleeping, or setting small fires for something like warmth, and have subsequently resulted in the criminalization of being unsheltered. Anti-camping ordinances have had a significant impact on unhoused individuals and their daily lives, and modern anti-camping ordinances reflect historical laws that only further marginalize the already marginalized. These ordinances have been enacted across the United States, and those in favor of them usually argue that they are necessary to maintain public order and safety. However, there are currently no published studies evaluating whether these ordinances are effective or not. These ordinances and similar laws criminalize the state of homelessness without getting to the root causes of it, such as lack of affordable housing, poverty, or systematic oppression. Criminalizing anti-camping in cities without sufficient shelter to accommodate unhoused individuals is criminalizing the state of homelessness itself. There have also been a few cases on anti-camping ordinances that have gone to the Supreme Court. And while the Supreme Court has never made a national ruling on if these ordinances are unconstitutional, they have maintained in those cases that it is unconstitutional to enforce an anti-camping ordinance if there are not enough shelter beds available to house unsheltered individuals. This also does not account for the fact that some individuals, for a variety of reasons, may not want to go to a shelter. So the bottom line is that addressing the unsheltered crisis requires a comprehensive approach going beyond punitive measures. Next slide, please. So now focusing on Flagstaff specifically, here in Flagstaff, we have an anti-camping ordinance that was enacted in 2005, amended in 2009, and has not been touched since. According to the city attorney, the police department's policy for enforcement of the anti-camping ordinance is to issue warnings, not arrest individuals or issue citations. That being said, we would like to highlight this table that we obtained from a recent publication by the Southwest Center for Equity Justice. As you can see, in 2020, there were just 194 individuals that accounted for over 1,300 arrests. 73% of these individuals were unsheltered and 62% were Native males. This report unfortunately did not specify what these individuals were arrested for, so it's unclear if this indicates a delineation or change from the stated policy of the police department on enforcement of the anti-camping ordinance, or if these individuals were arrested for something else. Regardless, the arrest and rearrest rate of these individuals makes it clear that criminalization is not a solution, but a poverty management strategy that does not offer these individuals the support that they need. We would also like to reemphasize that due to time constraints on getting data from the city, we were unable to evaluate the effectiveness of this ordinance, but we highly recommend that a robust evaluation be done. And now I'm going to hand it over to my classmate Madison, who will be discussing two different models that we researched and are proposing that we try here in Flagstaff to address this crisis. Madison?
Hi, so we are operating from a housing first philosophy, thus all of the solutions discussed will be focused on prioritizing permanent housing for the unsheltered population. With that being said, our first recommendation is based on Denver's Basic Income Project pilot, in which the City of Denver provides unconditional cash transfers to people experiencing homelessness over the course of 12 months. The unconditionality of the cash transfers allows participants to please advance the slide. Participants of this study to use the money as they see fit. The ongoing study is testing the feasibility and impact of guaranteed income for unhoused people. This study has 3 different groups with varying payments per month as follows. Group A has 12 monthly cash payments of $1,000. Group B receives an initial cash payment of $6,500 and 11 monthly cash payments of $500. And Group C receives 12 monthly cash payments of $50. So far, researchers in Denver have received the 6-month mark data that is demonstrated in the graphs on the right. These graphs show that participants in all groups report living in rented or owned homes. Participants in the larger payment group report having full-time jobs, and fewer participants overall are sleeping outside and usually utilizing public health services, such as visits to the emergency room. At the start of the study, fewer than 10% of participants said they were living in their own home or apartment, while at the 6-month point, more than a third said they lived in their own housing. Having a guaranteed income is very beneficial as it attempts to alleviate poverty, reduce income inequality, and promote economic security, all while attempting to address the root cause of housing instability. When considering applying this recommendation in Flagstaff, it's important to address the funding of the program. In Denver, charitable donations largely fund the program. However, the Denver City Council approved using $2 million in federal pandemic relief money to be put towards this pilot study. While it seems like a costly program up front, it will end up saving the city money in the long run, especially given the results after just 6 months. At the very least, we are suggesting that CODA commissioners reach out to the researchers in Denver in order to learn more about the program and its implementation. Next slide, please. The NACA pilot study looks at, it was a thing of rapid assessment response evaluation centering around the unhoused population. So it includes, sorry, I got locked out of the slides really quick. So give me 1 second. Okay, sorry. So the Native Americans for Community Action pilot study conducted a rapid assessment response evaluation in the city of Flagstaff to gather data on the indigenous unsheltered populations, which comprises a lot of Flagstaff's unsheltered population. So the idea with RARE that NACA implemented is that you train members of a community who are familiar with the community, essentially centering the experiences of the people we want to support. And the RARE team is attempting to conduct community-driven responses that are culturally sensitive and relevant to the unsheltered population in Flagstaff. The expansion of this NACA pilot study would allow us to understand the needs of our community to see how we can better serve them. And it serves as a model that we should be investing in as it's developing solutions created by the very population we are concerned with helping. Through this study, numerous short and long-term recommendations were suggested. However, I have decided to only highlight a few. The first being to improve services overall, which includes developing a shelter hotline, offering resource information at stores, and developing a resource center with the Pathways program. And then other recommendations are training the police in de-escalation techniques and methods, and then making access to healthcare more accessible through making more medications available, creating healthcare transportation to and from doctor's appointments, and offering mental health services to the unsheltered population. And one of the quotes from the field was that states, "Thank you for letting us participate. Nobody asks us to help. They make the decisions for us, but don't include us in those decisions." So with the RARE pilot study, we are centering the needs of the unsheltered, which is the most important part. And both the NACA pilot study and the Denver UBI pilot are innovative solutions that address those who are already unsheltered. And essentially, these are harm reduction solutions. For more proactive approaches that discuss the prevention of homelessness, I will hand it over to my classmate, Michaela.
Thank you, Madison. Please advance to the next slide. So I will now be going into a brief overview of keeping people housed. So overall solutions have been more curative rather than preventive. Prevention essentially requires proactiveness, and proactiveness requires promptness. In order to receive effective intervention to cure homelessness, solutions are to be provided upstream that essentially address the root causes of homelessness itself. While at this time, there's no single fix-all solution for homelessness, policies that address the shortage of affordable homes and provide demand-side support to households who are at risk of eviction can go a long way toward preventing individuals as well as families from becoming homeless. Many Americans suffer from housing instability, which can be present in a variety of ways, but it proves to be problematic because oftentimes it is a precursor to other issues. While this list is not exhausted by any means, these issues can include family life imbalances, detrimental physical and mental health effects, as well as poor childhood development for children who are being raised within these circumstances. That is why it is important to utilize a more proactive approach that can be seen on this slide, such as eviction prevention programs, emergency solution grants, and even rental assistance services. Now, when looking at the unsheltered population in Flagstaff, We examined data from 2018 indicating that there was roughly 667 men, women, and even children who were unsheltered residents in Coconino County. While accurate data from 2018 to the present has been difficult to source, it can be assumed that the data in this report from 2018 is similar to the data on the unhoused individuals who currently live in Flagstaff. Now, throughout the course of our research, we had found that Flagstaff, as of recently, has been ranked 8th on the list as one of the most priciest metro areas. On that note, while there are models out there, like the ones mentioned on this slide, we also wanted to highlight that within Flagstaff city limits itself, and aligned with the Housing First model, there are programs that we are utilizing in Flagstaff right now that have shown great progress. For example, the Owner-Occupied Housing Rehabilitation Program, along with the Coconino County Community Services Housing Stabilization Project. However, it is crucial to note that these models need to be re-examined so that they can be strengthened and expanded upon, coupled with more robust funding. On that note, I will pass it to my classmate Michael, who will leave us with some concluding thoughts as well as what we thought as a group was vital to emphasize throughout the course of our research. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikhail. All right, so good afternoon. So to summarize some key points during the course of our research, I'll conclude by focusing on areas for further research. I would note models for funding for our program here in Flagstaff. And finally, I'll just leave some thoughts here on the concept of homelessness. So for areas of further research, in order to garner like a better understanding of the homelessness in Flagstaff, further research is needed in several areas that will be beneficial in assisting the issue of homelessness within our city. So first is reaching out and actually coordinating with Denver's UBI pilot study program to kind of gain a little more further insight on how this program was ran, what were some of the deficiencies within this program that they hit, and how was like their organizational and slash like team was structured. So reaching out will likely be useful in establishing a program here. The second aspect is looking into an in-depth study of the efficacy of anti-camping ordinances. So we searched for national and regional studies for the efficacy of anti-camping ordinances and did not locate realistically any useful data. So it's a recommendation that a more robust evaluation of efficacy of this approach to be carried out for our city. So due to the limitations and shortfall of not gathering enough in-depth data, doing an in-depth study can address some of the shortfalls and gaps within our research. And then finally, our third option is looking to do further research for advocating for the expanded roles for the alternative response team that the city has been piloting. So each ART unit consists of a trained behavioral health specialist and firefighter department slash EMT. So in addition, work hours are only from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So which is kind of quite limiting for due in part that crises are unpredictable and they're also likely to occur outside of these hours. So the services are only limited to mental health, substance use. So being able to kind of expand some of these roles within these different organizations to kind of connect to the needs of the unsheltered populations could be beneficial. So moving on to the models for funding. So we took a look at Flagstaff's annual city budget, and we utilized Denver's UBI for the basis of our organic model here. So the city of Flagstaff's annual budget for fiscal year 23 to 24 was totaled about $539 million. Regarding the previous FY year of 22 to 23, the budget was totaled about $540 million. This is just to show the kind of consistency within the budget. So Denver's UBI program is currently serving over 800 individuals. So if Flagstaff were to do a pilot program here on a much smaller scale, it would have the potential to help a number of individuals at a much lower cost compared to Denver's expenditure. So the estimated total cost for a one-year pilot program will cost about $1.2 million. So there are several sources within the city's budget to where the money could come from. So proposed sources would be about 2.5% of the police budget, which would equate to about $641,000, and about 5% from parks and recreations and open space budgeting, which that would equate to about $576,000. So these two sources alone would almost equate to the entire cost of the program. So funding can also be coming in from fundraisers so that the city doesn't have to necessarily shoulder the full cost of it. Next slide, please. So moving on with like kind of the final thoughts. So criminalization of homeless through the use of policies such as like the anti-camping ordinances is not like a solution and actually makes for a poor public policy. Simultaneously, the use of homeless shelters, though it is helpful, will not end homelessness and are often considered short-term solutions. While shelters do keep unsheltered away from public view, they only target the symptoms of the problem rather than the root causes of homelessness. So individuals experiencing homelessness requires assistance and services to help them successfully attain like a different way of life from the streets and discrimination. So those individuals who have occupations struggle to make ends meet when finding affordable housing is a challenge. Overall, we advocate for holistic solutions to address homelessness and not handcuffs. So the city should reevaluate its current approach and fully fund efforts to keep people housed, support and rehouse people with stable shelters, and to continue to build Flagstaff a better community for all. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. This is a lot of information. And I must say thank you for the team and the entire group for putting this together. And please, and I'm sure you know this, that homelessness is a national issue right now. And I just have one question, and then I'll open up the floor. I see Commissioner Toner's hand was up. I don't know if you did this before, but have you connected with the regional plan that is going on right now? The Flagstaff City of Flagstaff has a regional plan, and there are different categories in there. Have you spoken to the planner, or have you been to any of the regional plans meeting? Because I just feel if we are putting a plan together for the next 10 or 20 years, I think this is a really serious topic, and it is affecting everyone. So that was my question.
Sure, I can speak to that. We have looked at the 10-year plan and some of, especially to get a sense of the landscape here in Flagstaff, what is already being done. I mean, part of what we were thinking when we put this report together was, yes, to look broadly, as you say, nationally, because it is an ongoing crisis and cities are taking up these sort of innovative approaches all over, but also we know, right, that it's always affirming to see what is the city already doing, that just needs to be more robustly supported. And so we were really influenced by, yes, looking at that report, looking at the NACA pilot study, and again, around town to see what we can kind of lift up for good work that's already being done. But we haven't attended any planning meetings or met with them. We were just Marcella came to our class back in September and shared this opportunity with us. And so we all were kind of learning along as we go, as none of us were, subject matter experts in this. So it's also just been a great opportunity to learn more about what's happening here in the city. But we certainly defer to many of you on this call because we know that y'all have been thinking about this for a long time. So yeah, thank you for that question and suggestion. We appreciate it.
Yes, wonderful. And I really like the part of the presentation when you say they need help and not handcuffs. That's really, really important. Commissioner Toner, I saw your hand was up for a question.
That was an error. I meant to do a reaction clapping hands. But I will say, since I'm on mic now, that this is I'm very appreciative of this report that you all have prepared, and I really appreciate, and I think we should take directions as a commission from the recommendation that we do some research on as a commission into the Denver plan. Thank you.
Carolyn, Commissioner House has a question.
Go right ahead. Commissioner House.
Thank you. This is Councilmember Kara House, and I just wanted to thank the presenters for sharing this information. It is very compelling and interesting, and we just had a couple I think 2 weeks in a row, folks came to the meeting to discuss the anti-camping ordinance and inquire about bringing it to an end or at least significantly revising it. My question is if you have considered or if you have any plans to present this to the Housing Commission as well.
We don't have any current plans to present to the Housing Commission. I'm certainly open to that. The students' obligations in the class are kind of coming to an end here, but I'd happily invite them to join me to present again to the Housing Commission. Yeah, that's a great suggestion, and then I'm personally committed to doing it, and I would invite any of the students to join me to continue to push the work forward.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And I see that
Oh.
Dr. Ishmael has his hand up also.
Yes. Dr. Munini, yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. It's always gratifying to see students presenting their work, and especially to the community. That's very, very gratifying. These are side comments. You may want to be consistent with your nomenclature. You're using terms like homelessness, unsheltered, and housed interchangeably. I know they have different meanings, so you may want to be consistent on which terminology you want to use so that we are not confused. They mean different things for different people. So I saw that in your slides. And then my other question or comment would be the nexus between solutions to this problem and the political orientation. Major metropolitan cities right now in the US are currently governed by Democratic parties, whose approach to solution to issues like housing may differ from what maybe the right may consider, because maybe their right approach would be, hey, you're unhoused or you lack shelter because you don't work hard, okay? But the left may be, no, there are structural issues that lead to being unsheltered or unhoused. So did you examine, this is maybe more for my intellectual curiosity rather than the council, but did you examine that connection? Because we don't know, maybe down the road, Denver, which is a huge metropolitan city, may have a Republican mayor, and Flagstaff is not governed by any political party, so to speak, but we just elect members. And finally, the nexus between being unhoused or unsheltered with mental health, and employment, because sometimes people working in these big box corporations or stores may not be paid a living wage, and that can contribute to disguised shelter problems. Okay, so they're doing everything you can, everything the right would like us to believe. They're doing it. They wake up, go to work, but yet the wages that are paid do not allow them to afford reasonable shelter that can accommodate a family. So I'm just wondering these connections, whether you really explored them in detail. But thank you very much for a wonderful study. I'm here at NAU as well, so thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate those comments, absolutely. I do think that we thought a little bit about in the white paper that kind of nexus, as you put it, between mental health, the sort of political economy of the production of homelessness. And we actually read 2 very excellent new books that are kind of thinking really, really hard and critically about that. We didn't dabble too much into thinking about the left versus right, its endorsement of different approaches to addressing this issue, though, of course, anytime you all know best, better than us in many ways, right? Anytime you're working to make change in a city, these are the kinds of things that you have to be sensitive and attuned to. Absolutely. It is also sort of an ideological initiative to convince people that all of us have the right to dignified life, and that's a part of this project in the broader spirit, of course, as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your comment to Dr. Muneni. Those are really, really valuable comment to look forward to. I just do have one question for the group, though. How far do you want to take this, and what is your time frame to take it forward?
I also don't have to hog the mic. Y'all can come off mute at any time if you like. Like I said, I mean, this graduate class is come to an end. This is the last week of classes at NAU. Many of these students are in their second year of our master's program and finishing their degree in the spring. That being said, I think that we're really open to hearing, like, as Councilmember House offered the opportunity to present to the Housing Commission. I think we're open to y'all's suggestions about other places we could present this work. The graduate students are by no means required to continue to do things like that. It would be more on a kind of volunteer and interest basis. So I think, again, we're open to hear suggestions, and then I would leave it up to each of them as individuals to decide how much further they want to take this work.
Great, thank you so much for that response, because I would hate for it to just die a natural death as after your graduate students move on, because there's so much work went into this, and there are other cities and other areas who are trying, to probably find an issue or to find out what starts, homelessness and how they can help, and how the government or the local government or the citizens can help, eliminate it or eradicate it, which is everybody needs to be a part of it. And Councilmember House had a really great suggestion there with the Housing Council, the Housing Commission, and other commissions. And also, if you can check out with the regional plan, because if they're putting a regional plan for the next 10 years, you definitely want to talk about the anti-campaign ordinance, because that affects everything, housing and mental illness and environmental. It touches everything. So that is a really good one to move forward. Any other questions? And I think I'm seeing some stuff in the chat.
Yeah. Angelica and I were just kind of having a quick back and forth, and Angelica was asking about how to access the report. I did also send that out. I believe it was to Mariah. So if it wasn't disseminated, I can resend that again. I also dropped my email address in the chat, so folks can feel free to reach out to me.
Hi,
Send it.
This is Lisa, the staff liaison. Sorry, Megan, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Mariah is out with the family emergency today, but I will distribute it out to the commissioners to make sure they get a copy of it.
Great. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I was just inquiring about maybe other programs. I'd love to, educate myself on what else is going on out there. And I'd love to just kind of check that out. So I appreciate you making that available.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. I actually sent it last Friday for a little weekend reading, but I'm gonna resend it now. So I hope y'all let me know if you don't get it, but you should. I'm sure Lisa will get it to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. McNoah, and thank you, Lisa, for sharing it with CODA members, so we can take a look at it too. Any other questions before we move on to the next item? Okay, hearing none, I want to thank you, Dr. McDowell, and your wonderful graduate students at NAU. Yay, NAU! Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for presenting to us. And I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot of questions from us and emails, once we get your presentation and, we'll probably want to be a part of it or asking more questions or giving you some pointers, where to look, because anti-camping ordinance and homelessness is everybody's issue, everybody's problem. It's not just homelessness, but it's everybody's problem. Once we live here, it is our problem. This is our issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Take care.
Okay, so let us move on to item 8D. So Dr. Monina did send an email out to our staff liaison. Lisa, can you speak on that? Because I did not get a copy of it. It was to co-sponsor the event for Sinclair.
Yes.
Dietrich Jules. Thanks.
And my apologies, you guys. I'm actually just coming back to work from a medical leave, but let me see if I can pull it up because I do recall why am I doing that? I do recall getting the email. So give me just a second here. Here we go. I think that was forwarded from Mariah also.
Thank you, Lisa. First day back and we are working you to the bone, but you're doing well. Thank you.
Oh, I try. Literally, I got back and I had over 600 emails. So
wow.
It's been a busy 3 days.
Yes. But we really appreciate what you do for us at CODA.
I do my best. See, and I said this before, I just really enjoy working with this commission because I see you all's dedication and you're just very committed to participating in the community when it comes to diversity awareness and, understanding what your role is as a commission. And I just can't say enough about that. So I literally am very happy to participate and be a part of this organization. And as I am scrolling, did anyone else get that email from Mariah regarding Dr. Ishmael's request? If any of the commissioners received it, if you guys could let us know.
I received it. I received an email. I can read it out loud.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Okay. Dear Mariah, as I announced in today's meeting, St. Clair Dietrich Jules, author, photographer, and documentary filmmaker, is scheduled to visit NAU in spring 2024 as a guest speaker during the Black History Month. She will also have a book signing session and presentation of her documentaries. The NAU visit will be sponsored by the Commission on Ethnic Diversity, CED. CED at NAU is seeking to have this visit also serve the Flagstaff community and is therefore seeking the support of CODA as a co-sponsor. This will provide the requisite publicity for the event. We will appreciate if CODA can discuss this request at their next meeting. And here is St. Clair's website and additional information. And then there are 2 websites for St. Clair. Thank you for your help and support, Dr. Ishmael Munini. Okay, so that's it.
All right, thank you so much for reading that for me, Jean, because Commissioner Tona, because once I tried jumping into the meeting today, I lost all my attachments. So I'm not sure if that was attached also, but thank you so much for at least reading it for us. So we do have an item on the floor that we need to vote on. But before voting on that, Lisa, I hate to put you in a hot spot. We want to know if we want to co-sponsor, what sort of financial what sort of finances do we have with CODA? If it's something that we could request, or how do we do this?
Well, as of now, I am not aware of a direct budget with CODA, but it is definitely something that I can look into and find out if there is some sort of budget that CODA would be able to use to participate. Off the top of my head, I want to say that there is none, but before I confirm that, let me check with our city clerk's office to see. And I can follow up with an email to you all to let you know that.
Okay, thank you so much. And Dr. Munini, would you like to give us a little insight without saying too much? What when you say co-sponsor, do you have a figure in mind? I know it's a community event, so what are you looking for?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. St. Clair has sent us a budget. It's 2650, so we have that. And by the way, I have my VP for Inclusive Excellence in the meeting, Dr. Justin Mallet. So he could also add. Technically, we do have the budget to bring her in. She gave us a reasonable budget. We can bring her in for 2 days. CODA would help with publicizing the event. We don't want to bring her for 2 days, and then the community, which would benefit because it's a very topical issue about Black people's hair and how it impacts their self-esteem, their workplace relations, etc., etc. And if there is additional sponsorship that CODA may feel would assist us, we would appreciate. Publicity is the main issue, and we have allocated a budget that can bring her in. But one thing our budget doesn't allow is refreshments, and I don't think that will be a big issue because we are operating on state funds, so we do have funds to bring her right on campus. So maybe flyers outside, maybe would one of the things. Maybe we could look at simple refreshments, maybe drinks or something. That's basically. But I would like Dr. Mallet, if you could chip in and chime in and speak to this. I see he's on the line, Dr. Mallet.
Hi, Dr. Mallet, are you here? I think I saw his.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there now.
Yeah, I'm here. First off, yeah, I think this is a great event and a wonderful actually enhance the town and gown relationship between the city of Flagstaff and NAU in particular with Black History Month programming as well. And really, I think it would go to the publicity piece of it, of being able to potentially reach out to the school district, to be able to reach out to the community college, to be able to reach out to other external collaborators that we could potentially bring in, because it's one thing to bring a speaker in and keep it in-house at NAU, but we shouldn't be doing that. We should be working towards making sure that all these events are collaborative and invitational for everybody, not only on our campus, on the NAU campus, but the entire Flagstaff community. So I think a huge part of this would be the publicity piece of it. And then I think once you do the publicity, the other piece of it is showing up and being present in the space for the presenter in our community.
Yeah, thank you. And by the way, we have between February 6th. Let me get you the dates when we met on Monday, and we agreed that February 1st to the 4th is when we should be bringing her on campus. So, but thank you. Those are the brief, and thank you, Dr. Mallet. Those are the brief notes that I have about the visit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mallet and Dr. Munini. So when you were talking about the advertising and I guess spreading the word, I was just thinking of the tri-diversity councils also. I mean, CODA could spread the word, and also all the different agencies, the tri-diversity councils from Coconino County. That could be a really good some agencies that you can speak with also. I'm not sure if you're able to be on the agenda to send an email, but I see Council Member House is putting a whole bunch of stuff on here. I'm reading off of that quota sponsorship, maybe more than terms of right, asking city partnership in the event. Yes.
Yeah, we do have
Yes.
someone on the Native American. My co-chair is
Yes.
Sharon
Yes.
Doctor sits on that, and then there is a Diaspora Advisory, EDAC. I think you are there. You are, yeah.
Yes.
You are in
So
that.
yeah, so basically the stuff that if the information in the chat that council member House put in there is basically, yeah, the tri-diversity councils. I was just speaking about all 3 councils in the county and Southside, the city. I was thinking, yeah, the same thing too for all that, all the type of advertisement. So I see here that Councilmember House also put asking for the city partnership in the event. So in addition to CODA, have you thought about being on the agenda for the council meeting, for the city council meeting?
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay. Okay then. All right. So so at this point in time, I could put a motion for a vote, but we still want to find out from Lisa. Let's give Lisa some time to come back and let us know, what sorts of funds we have, if we do have any. But definitely, I want to put a vote out there still for the commissioners, if we want to be a part of this, if we want to co-sponsor it, or if, we want to do the advertising and the marketing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So there's a motion on the floor. If CODA wants to take part in the marketing, at least the marketing or this the advertisement for now, which we can send out to persons, and we'll wait until we see what it costs. But just the whole idea of us wanting to be a part of it.
I'll second your motion.
Great. All right, thank you. So Dr. Muneni and Dr. Mallet, we will definitely reach out and let you know once Lisa gets that information for us. We'll definitely communicate again on this. And I understand it is in February 2024. So
yes,
we don't have much time. I thought we had a lot of time, but we don't have much time. Yes. And keep on sharing whatever other information you have as time gets closer, and we will engage then.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let's move on to number 9, reports, discussion items. 9A, updates from staff liaison. And Lisa, you're up.
I'm up next again. Okay, no specific updates as I have been out of the office due to medical leave for the last few months, but I heard all the good reports from the November meeting and wanted you all to know that I will be reflecting on the agenda for November and this month and looking at ways that I can continue to enlighten you on things that we're doing at the city and some of the programs that you guys are participating in and some of the workshops that you have going. So no specific updates at the moment. As I said earlier, we spoke about Juneteenth and where we stand with that. And if there's anything else, I will get that information over to you guys. But I will definitely get back to you on the budget for CODA ASAP.
Great, thank you so much. And also 9B, work group list, a report, update, and confirmation on persons in each group, in each work group. I'm not sure if we do have a list available right now, but Lisa, is that something that we could work on?
Yes, that's actually a list that came from Jean. Jean was really good
Oh,
at
okay,
keeping that
okay.
list updated. So Jean, if you could get that list over to Carolyn, we just want to keep this on the agenda so that we keep abreast on the work that's going on with the commission.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much, Commissioner Tona. All right, so move on to 9C, library collaboration with Felicia. Is Felicia on here today? I didn't see her.
Yeah, Felicia wasn't able to make it, but
Okay.
we had a good meeting, and Annalika was with us with her husband, and for our November event, and that was on the 24th, I believe, at 4:30 in the afternoon. It was an interesting thing. Felicia had, this is the LGBTQ history in Flagstaff oral history project, and it's a collaboration. And she's already got together all the three different options for how we can record, or a person can record on their own, or the recording can be done via an interview. So all that is set up. Actually, what we are waiting on is to get an approved consent, informed consent for participants. And the first consent that the legal department sent over was actually more PR oriented, and it asked the participants to allow their, photographs to be used publicly and stuff like that. And for this particular thing, that's not really appropriate. We need to do something that is more similar to a research consent for informed consent. Anyway, so that's Felicia's taking the lead on that, and that's underway right now to get a finalized consent to participate. We're going to recruit data collectors, people who actually want to be doing interviews. And we're going to be developing a finalized PR strategy that Felicia already has well underway. And again, everything's kind of being held up right now with this consent. We can't start collecting until the consent thing is finished. And we're also going to investigate, and, of course, my thought goes straight to Megan, an internship, either through sociology, anthropology, CJ, social work, possibly having a grad student or an undergrad student be kind of a coordinator for the whole project as an internship project. I think it'd be I would love to have known it when I was an intern. And then also we're going to look into kind of larger, more formalized kind of data collection in terms of, like, if people on PBS have watched the StoryCorps, wonderful little vignettes that they show, what PBS did, or what that StoryCorps project did, is they actually had these movable booths, recording booths, like in Grand Central Station, in all kinds of public places, and people could just pop in themselves, do their own recording, do it privately, and it would be done. So we're going to look into some grants maybe for something like that. And our next meeting is actually scheduled for the day after our next CODA meeting. Our next meeting is going to be January 18th, and we should be able to really firm up a timeline then. So probably that's in January. By February, we should have a pretty formalized timeline of, a big kickoff, and hopefully going to City Council and, making a presentation about what this program is. So that's it. Thanks.
Oh, great. This is a lot of information, I must say. And the removal recording booth, I remember doing something like this in Florida years ago, very long ago, but it's very private, and it seemed to be it was very effective. Thank you so much, Commissioner Tona.
And I'm going to get in touch with you because I haven't ever participated in something like this. So I want to
Yeah.
your experience, and thank you. I'll be in touch.
Yes, definitely. So item D has been on here for a while. It's update on the fair item of the equitable restrooms. And so we want to, it has been on here. We were waiting to hear from legal. Legal was supposed to give us some sort of information on this, but I think it's gone real dead right now. It's kind of gone sour. So one of the things that we want to do is just to get a vote for us to go ahead and redo it by way of representing it, the fair item of the equitable restrooms to the council, the city council, because I think back in, and correct me, Commissioner Tona, back in probably 2018, way back then, the then council did pass that fair item to have equitable restrooms, but things change and, over time, and it's just kind of ran cold right now. So we want to know if we, from the commissioners, if you think we want to vote on if we should go ahead and re-represent it to the council, or if we should wait on legal to respond what is taking so long to go ahead and actually have the equitable restrooms.
And I'll just chime in here. Our chair ex officio, Dee Wegward, really did a lot of work on this, and she prepared the presentation for City Council. And I have emailed her, and I think that she is very open to joining as a guest ex officio if we present to council. And personally, I'll just give my opinion. I think it needs to be represented to council. This was 2 councils ago, and we have different city council members now, and kind of the whole landscape has changed. And we presented it. It was right at the, if my memory serves me correctly, at the very either right after, right before the pandemic, or right at the beginning. Anyway, it was very much, impacted by the pandemic. So I think that's just, I think we need to represent. So that's all.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it was like 2018 I was reading up on this. So yeah, I think it's for us to go ahead and re-represent this again, represent it. Do we need to have a motion, or should we just go ahead and get it on the agenda for the council?
I'll make a motion that we represent on the equitable restroom ordinance to the present city council.
All right, is there a second? Okay, so I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm seeing the thumbs up.
Aye.
Okay. All right. All against? Anybody abstain? All right, so the motion carries. Okay. So I know we're keeping E on here, which is the anti-camp ordinance review for data to move it to another committee. I know we're keeping this on here. We're going to still have this on here until we have another committee. Is that correct? That was the idea? Lisa, that was the idea of keeping it on here?
Yes, that is
Okay,
correct.
good. Right, wonderful. Okay, good. And so 9F, discussion on a diversity flag, and it's Council Member Howe still here with us. I know we kept her here a long time.
I am. So I think this is maybe two different items, if I'm correct, and former Chair Toner maybe can correct me on this if I'm misunderstanding, but so there's the fair that I introduced to the council on the Black History Month flag, but I believe this item might have been related to the request from CODA to have a diversity flag pole. Is that correct?
That is, this is Lisa, staff liaison, and I believe that is correct. But again, I'll defer that to Ms. Toner.
Yes, that's exactly right. There are two items here.
Okay.
And the diversity flagpole, even though we had created materials around it and everything, that never made it as far as a fair. So I think that what we need to discuss is if there's anything more that we need to do. I believe Councilwoman House, you actually have already completed the selection of Black History Month flag. And so the other discussion would just be if we want to move forward with a kind of generic diversity flag for times where there isn't a specified one,
Right.
like Indigenous Black History. Is that what y'all understand? Is that correct, Lisa?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, that's what I understand. Correct.
Okay, so do we want to have a separate flag? Because there are some months, every month has several heritage and history for different diverse groups. Um, I mean, my calendar has like 5 or 6 in June or 7 of them in July. So basically, it's just having one diversity flag. So I could see whereby having this diversity flag, we need to have a design. So do we have any ideas on the design? Do we want to have a work committee for this? Because I can see colors and all these different things being a big discussion.
I think the past couple of years, a work group has worked really well because what they can do is do all the research and then bring it back to the commission with options, so that would be what I would think.
Unless we have something already in mind. Go ahead, Council Member House.
Thank you, Chair. The only thing that I would point or note from the council perspective, and I apologize, my cat doesn't like when I talk to other people. But the only thing that I note from the council side is, so sometime soon coming up, we should be having the discussion of the recognitions for 2024 that would include things that would go on the flagpole that's outside of City Hall. I know that there was hesitancy this past year in the discussion when it was asked if months could be split to recognize like different things that were happening that month, because they have a whole process apparently that goes into the raising and lowering of flags, and if somebody's going to be responsible for changing it at that midway point or every other day, like all of those things, it was just becoming very complicated. One of the requests was to split, for example, Black History Month with, I don't remember what the other thing was, but several of us asked that not happen because it's a short month and it's really hard to commit to or show intentionality when you're splitting every couple of weeks. And I know that there was also a discussion before I was on council, this would have been back in like 2018, 2019, maybe, when there was a request for a separate poll for things that were not maybe being recognized formally by the city, and that was turned down. So I would just come with a very specific ask. For example, if you wanted to do a flag for Global Diversity Awareness Month, which is October. That's going to fall in with Hispanic Heritage Month, and I'm trying to remember what the other one for the month of October is, but those are just going to be things to consider as you're coming up with a proposal for a flag or flags for the year. I think one of the things that you could do if the flag becomes challenging is make that commitment on ensuring that we do some sort of recognition, whether through a proclamation for the different things or some other form of recognition for groups that maybe don't have a flag flown, but we can recognize in some other way.
Thank you so much. That in the Global Diversity Awareness Month, that is really that's a very, very good idea. Because at some point in time, I remember doing something like that in Seattle for that particular day, and then it ended up being a month, and it really covered all the diversities. So that would be great. But again, we're going to go ahead and have a work group for that. Lisa, let's go ahead and at least have a work group for that, and then let me see if I can get here any volunteers who want to be on that work group. And this is open to everybody in the meeting who wants to be part of the diversity flag discussion and research and coming back with some information. Anyone?
Well, as staff liaison, I would definitely want to be a part of that work group.
Of course, Lisa, of course. Yeah. All right, anybody else?
I'd be happy to continue to, oh, go ahead. TJ is.
I think TJ hand was up. And TJ is having a little bit of issue too, computer issue. So I think he's putting something in the chat. But I would like to also be a part of this this diversity flag work group. And also TJ did put in a chat. So we have Commissioner Tona, Commissioner Jane, myself, Lisa. And anybody else who wants to join afterwards, please send an email to Lisa. Okay. All right. So item number 10, 10A, anti-camp ordinance review of data to move to another committee. We want to keep this on here because we don't want to forget it. We definitely want to have it for future meetings. And 10B, discussion of commemorative flag update from Rose Tohei. I am not seeing Rose on here. Lisa, do you know if Rose got an invitation for the meeting?
She did, but I'm not
Okay.
sure if she responded. We can definitely move her to the
Okay.
next meeting for January 17th.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So it's 3:02. Anybody has any questions or any last minute things to add? If not, I want to go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 3:02 p.m. Everybody, I want you to have a happy and safe holiday. I hope this is great for you and your loved ones. Be safe out there. If you have to shovel snow, don't worry about it. The city got it covered. The county have it covered. Call a friend. And thank you so much for what you do in CODA.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.